What's the deal, my people? You know what it is. The Don Tony Teflon in the building, and I am here for a House of the I almost said Game of Thrones. House of the Dragon, Season 2, Episode 1, recap, review, breakdown. We're going to go through the whole episode, talk about everything we liked, some things that we didn't like, or whatever. And it's not about me, people. It's not about me. It's about you. I need you to contact me. And on that phone number that's right there, 518-290-0848, I want to hear from you what you thought about the episode, what you liked about it, if you read the books, the differences, and we'll go over a little differences that we've seen from the books to the show, and anything else that you want to really talk about. You know, I'm here for that. You know what I mean? We're here for this. Usually this is the From stream. I know we're going to push the From stream back till tomorrow. So I will be doing we'll be doing it tomorrow and everything else. My collar is fucked up. It's a bad day for the Don. It's so hot up here in New York right now, man. I'm dying. I don't even know how I'm going to get through this stream. I'm going to do my best to get through this stream because I am dying right now and everything else. But before we go on, make sure you hit that thumbs up on your way in so it spreads it around YouTube so more people could join us. And let's say what up to these people who are here rocking with us right now. We got Sydney is up in the building rocking with us right now. We got a phone call that quick. We're going to take it. We're going to take it.
Call from
Kristen Cool.
To accept, press 1.
What up? You rocking with the Don, Tony Teflon. You're going to have to, you can't be mumbling like that. I can't hear you.
You hear me now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, you just interrupted me from a meal. I was just doing a meal. I was having a meal as Kristen Cole's having a meal.
Oh. Well, listen, if you're having the same meal Kristen Cole is having, and you calling me, something's wrong with the meal. I mean, there's a problem. It ain't me. It's that meal you eat. Because I wouldn't have stopped.
Yo, that scene was wild. That scene was wild. What?
You know, I did a video strictly about that scene. I dropped today. If you ain't got a chance, go watch that. You know what I mean? But watch the video.
I was that late. Oh my God.
You know, so I would just say, you know, listen, I know a lot of people and everything else, you know what I mean, are saying that Allison is a hypocrite and everything else because she's over here. Leave that woman alone. Let that woman get a husband, man. Look at what she was fucking with the whole time. You know what I'm saying? It ain't fair. And whoever's calling right now, call back when for the next call when KP ain't here. We can go into it a little bit. You know what I mean? But
definitely I can't call her a hypocrite. Listen, she's a relatively young lady.
Yeah.
So I mean, I imagine her age is something like 40.
Yes.
When this age of the kids and the age she was when she had the kids, she's 40, even like perhaps even under than that, perhaps even as young as 36, 37, 38. Because so point being, she's a young woman.
That peach is ripe, baby. That peach is ripe.
He was not useful in that manner, even for a long time before he died. So, like, I see nothing wrong with her having some fun. I mean, people talk about hypocrisy in her being upset that she used Kristen Cole and caused Kristen Cole to do what he did, and now in their mind she's doing the same thing to Kristen Cole. But that's not hypocrisy. She and Kristen Cole entered into whatever they entered into with full knowledge of where it was going to go and where it was not going to.
100%. I think you're right on that. I think when it happened with Rhaenyra, Kristen Cole had false, he had expectations, but they turned out to be unfounded. But in this relationship, he knows exactly that it's going to be what it's going to be. He knows that there's no chance she's going to run away with him. There's no nothing. He's going into it knowing that. And she's hot as a motherfucker. So listen, I don't blame that motherfucker one bit. I would have been on it. Fuck the whiteness of my coat. You can paint my cloak black if I get to hit that straight up, because I would have done that. I would have done it twice every night.
If you know what, I'm very, very surprised that she doesn't have many more suitors. I'm very surprised that there's only this Kristen Cole and kind of Larys in sort of a way, but not really. Larys is not a suitor. Larys is using her for his own ends. He's not a suitor. He doesn't want to be with her. Yeah. So I'm surprised that she doesn't have more than one suitor. She doesn't have any kind of significant suitors out in the open checking for her, because of a dowager queen is a very, very valuable mate to a man, especially a man.
It is
some lesser lord that has, he's not at a high tower or a Targaryen level. Maybe like a lord. Like something like a Castor or something like that.
Yep.
A house that really isn't up there, but is like very close. Getting married to a queen dowager would almost instantly raise, your house's position.
It would, but I think the problem is here is that as soon as she became a widow, they go into war. So I don't think dudes want to jump right into that to deal with that war. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's what would hold back. If it was a normal transition, I think there would have been a lot more guys coming for her. But now, if you're coming for that ass, it's kind of like who is that comedian? Chris Rock. When Chris Rock said, he was like, dating a younger woman is easy. You buy a bag. No problem. You want a bag? No problem. You want some shoes? Oh, you want some shoes? No problem. But when you deal with an older woman, the older woman's like, can you help me fix my roof? My kitchen needs to be remodeled. Like that's what it is, jumping in there with her. Like, will you help save my son's throne and bring 10,000 of your men to get killed? Will you do that? So I think it's a situation like that, and that's why it won't go down. But KP, call me back. I'm gonna let some other people get in here. I got a bunch of people here waiting.
But before you go, I'm just gonna say I fully enjoyed the episode. The little changes they made to Blood and Cheese, I actually like, because it makes it so that there's less of nobody has the moral high ground per se. Nobody went out to just do evil things, people. So I like a lot of the changes that they made. One of the funniest scenes to me was when Rhaenyra and Syrax flew in there when people picking up her son's dragon's wing or whatever. She just flew in and split off the dragon and went. Yeah, there was a lot of what I expected to see. I saw a lot of it. And one of the more interesting things was the fact that in the entire episode, Rhaenyra only really has one line, and that is, I want Aemon Targaryen. That's the only line she has in the whole episode. And I think it's very powerful. So I'm glad to see it. So yes, you take more calls when you're watching it on the TV.
All right, man. All right.
Well, I am satisfied.
All right, bro.
Good evening.
All right, what? That's a great KP. Yeah, going right into the situation, dealing with Alicent and Kristen Cole. A lot of people all mad about it and everything else. And like I said, she ain't got no suitors, because of what I said it before. The war just broke right out, so she didn't have a chance to get no suitors. But the other suitors just would not be up to par. All right, let's take this call. Let's see who this is.
Call from
Scott.
To accept, press 1.
What's going on? You're rocking with the Don, Tony Teflon.
Hey, what's up, Tony?
What's going on?
I really didn't think Allison change and being banging Crispy was good. It was way more horrific in the book
What was horrific in the book?
when she saw the Jaharis head getting cut off
All right, so
and having to choose between Mailer and Jaharis.
all right, so you're talking about the daughter more.
Yeah, I didn't think that Jahaira should have been involved. It should have been Mailer and Jaharis, just
Okay.
like in the books.
All right. Yeah, I mean, I think that it was definitely more graphic in the books than they showed in the show, but I just don't think you can show that on a television show. I think that you would have got banned. You'd have people calling for the show to get canceled if they would have showed a little kid get decapitated. So I think they made the best of what they could do. I do wish they said the line, "You see that boy, your mama wants you killed." I wish they would have put that in there.
Agreed. No, I totally think how they did it was tasteful. Like that you don't show it, but Allison didn't need to be banging Crispy. She needed to see it, like in the book, because that jacked her up, dude.
It did.
That messed her up.
It did. I think that her definitely. I'm about to do a spoiler, but I think that what happens to Helena after is going to mess her up, and I think this messes her up also because I think she's going to think that. Like she told Kristen Cole, we can't do this anymore. I think now they're not going to do it anymore because of this. They're going to blame each other. Kristen Cole's going to be like, I should have been on post. And she's going to be like, it's my fault that you weren't on post. So that ends this relationship right there. And I think that they're going to have that guilt. And that's why they put it in there like that with her.
Awesome. I like that. What I did like, Helena being a dragon dreamer.
All right.
That was cool.
I like that too, especially that she's definitely on the spectrum, that they empowered somebody on the spectrum on the show. You know what I mean? They've never done that before.
And a person that both blacks and greens like. I like that too, for the most part, for most people.
Yeah, she's no one that anybody hates. There's no reason to hate her. She doesn't do anything wrong. Even when they were all together, she was the first one to grab somebody up and start dancing. You know what I mean? This show, even when we get back to season 1, and you see that when they're all there just drinking and eating together, and you're like, this is what this family would be and what it should be. And they let this thing get in between them, and they were so happy that time, just dancing, and everybody was talking and chatting. Could you imagine the realm if Aemon and Daemon were actually cool with each other? They would. It seemed like they would be best friends. Like they got everything in common. Like they would just be driving on Dragon back to brothel, killing whoever got in their way for the fun of it, having sex with whoever they want. Like their life would be so much better. It would just seem like it would be so good. You know what I mean? So it really, when you watch that scene and you see what it came to now, it's just sad because they could have really been cool.
Yeah. All right, man. That's all I really had to say. I thought the episode was really good, though.
All right, man. I appreciate the call. Call back anytime. That is what it is, man. Yeah, you know the number to call. Call up if you want to speak to the Don, 518-290-0848 if you want to give your thoughts on this episode of this show. I gotta do something real quick just to make sure. I'm sorry. Got to make sure everything is good in the situation. All right. Yeah, so it really doesn't. I talked about there, what if they could have just got along? What if they could have just been, what if Rhaenyra would have just married Aegon and just called it a day? You know what I mean? If it was just a situation like that and they could just be cool, it just seems like, they would have had the realm by the balls. You would have never had a Robert Baratheon situation. You would have never had anybody taking over the throne. They would have had all their dragons. They would have had much more dragons, and everyone would have been a dragon rider. It would have just been a whole different situation in the world if they could have just all just got along. And they allowed this whole thing just to come in between them. And it's really sad that because it's like most families, a lot of families, you are cool, and then they allow a small thing to come in between that family. It's messed up when it happens, and that's what I think about when I hear that. Let's take this call. This is 404.
Call from.
Hey, Tony, this is Marcus.
To accept, press 1.
What's going on? You're rocking with the Don Tony Teflon.
What's going on, Tony? This is Marcus from Atlanta. How you doing?
I'm good, Marcus. How's everything with you?
Going good. The reason why I called was because I wanted to, one, speak to your point about if things were different, everyone would have been cool. I think one of the things that they made an error in was allowing House Hightower's influence to infiltrate the way that they lived their life, because we've seen that, if they would not have allowed Otto Hightower to push as much on the small council and push as much on just everything that they did as far as their family is concerned, this wouldn't have happened, because that influence from Old Town and the Starry Session and all those different things, it wouldn't have happened. So I think that Viserys being the way that he was, even though he had a really good heart, and I appreciate that, he allowed people to undermine his family. And that, to me, was the start of their undoing, because, without Daemon on the small council, Otto got his way.
Mm-hmm.
And if Otto wouldn't have gotten his way, none of this, in my opinion, wouldn't happen. He wouldn't have married Alicent. He wouldn't have made a lot of the decisions that he did. Maybe I think he probably still would have named Rhaenyra his heir. I'm not sure about that, but we do know that Otto is behind the Maesters messing up Aemma and her pregnancy, because he, told them to not really take care of her, and we saw evidence of that and how she was taken care of.
All right, so you
even alluded to that.
So you think that Otto sabotaged? You think
all these
real quick,
taking care of you?
All right, real quick. Let me jump in real quick. So you think Otto had something to do with Emma's death?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Because you remember when Rhaenyra got back from riding her dragon and she was with Alicent, and Rhaenyra alluded to the fact that, hey, all these Maesters are taking care of the baby, but who's taking care of you? And remember when Viserys was sitting with Aemma in the bathtub, and she said that this is only as hot as the Maesters would allow,
Mm-hmm.
And remember when also they were looking at Viserys' wound on his back, Otto said, keep this quiet, don't tell anybody. So he didn't even allow them to really get any outside help from any other Maesters who probably could have known more of what to do.
Mm-hmm. All right.
And so I think that Otto, being as close as he was, being allowed to push Viserys in certain directions, and with Daemon, and with him banishing Daemon as per Otto's, go ahead.
Yeah, I could see what you're saying. I could take it as them saying basically like the woman's life doesn't matter. That's why she's not being taken care of. The only thing that matters is this baby. And I think that the daughter pointed that out, like, how come no one gives a F about you? They just give a F about the baby. And then we see evidence of that when it's like, listen, one of them's got to live, one of them's got to die. And then he chooses like, listen, get the babe. Who cares about my wife at that particular time? Which I think, in all honesty, most people in the world would pick their wife. Like, I don't know if you're married. I think most people pick the wife over the kid. Like, we could have another kid. It's hard. It's a hard decision, but I think most people would say, I can have another kid. I got to have my wife. I got to have the love of my life with me. And usually that's how it goes.
I believe that if the Maesters would have, given that much energy as well to taking care of Aemma, in my opinion, things would have turned out differently. I believe. People don't have to agree with that, but I believe that if the Maesters really would have also taken care of Aemma as well as the baby inside of her, I think that things would have turned out differently.
All right, I can feel you, but we have had like numerous times where people giving birth to Targaryen children have died in bed.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's something going on, and we also seen Rhaenyra when she gave stillbirth to that child. That child had scales of a dragon on it. You know what I mean? Like dead ass scales of a dragon. So it could be something in that Targaryen sperm that causes these babies. I don't know how big their goddamn heads are, but something's going on there when they're coming out making these chicks die like that. You know what I mean? So it could be something.
Got you. Okay, yeah, I see that point as well. It's just I think that my disdain for Otto the most lies in the fact that they allowed him to dictate another family's business, and I feel like in my opinion, if you have family business that needs to be attending to, like the Song of Ice and Fire, securing the Iron Throne, making sure that we are, the harbingers of the fire that combats the ice, you know what I mean? We shouldn't allow anyone else to tell us how we dictate the succession, dictate this, that, and the third, because we have to stay focused on our mission. And I think that if they would have caught on to Otto's plan sooner, this wouldn't have happened. He would have been banished a long time ago. The Hightower would have been out here. Now, I think that also they have to have other allies as well. That's great, but you only let them get so far because you would allow them to distract you from your family prophecy of, hey, we have to be the ones to help save the realm. Like spoilers, like Daenerys will help the North in Game of Thrones. And I think that the conversation at the North was very, very cool because we saw, that kind of promise be fulfilled in a way, All
right. Yeah, I hear you. I think we see a lot of that, of these hands and everything else getting their business in the royal business. But I mean, it's hard for me to blame the man doing it more than the person who's allowing it to be done. Right. So if you allow someone to manipulate you like that, the fault falls with you. So you have to put that more in the king than what Otto is doing. If everyone else sees it and you don't see it, and there's some emperor has no clothes situation, that's on you. You brought your family.
Yeah, that's true. I just wish that Viserys would have listened to Daemon more, because especially during that argument that they had.
Yep.
Even though Viserys was was angry justifiably with Daemon in regards to what he allegedly said about his heir, even though we never saw it on screen. However, but that's what Otto told him that he said. I do. But I think
he said it. We know he said it. We know he said it. I mean, but we know he definitely said it, and because we know that before the scene, he was sitting on the Iron Throne, and he was telling Rhaenyra straight up that I'm the heir. I'm the heir. I'm the heir. I'm the heir. I'm the one taking over. That was his whole thing. That's why he was sitting on the Iron Throne when Rhaenyra got there. He wanted to be king. He didn't want him to have no kids. No male kids. He wasn't even thinking about Rhaenyra's claim at all. He was just brushing that aside. All he said was, it's going to be me. He has no sons. I'm the king next in line. And that's the way he was all about it.
Right. But again, who drove Viserys to change all of that? The same day as the funeral. You know what I mean? So I'm not mad at, Viserys choosing Rhaenyra at the time, because that was his only heir, and I support Rhaenyra mainly because she knows the prophecy and she would be the better ruler, But I mainly support her because she is the carrier of the prophecy that has been entrusted to House Targaryen since the very beginning. That is why, like when people ask me why am I Team Black, it's for that reason that it's hard the most, because without Rhaenyra remembering that prophecy as she continues to navigate this war, the whole reason why House Targaryen is so important and powerful is lost.
All right. I hear your points.
Go ahead.
No, I hear your points. I will not dispute your points at all. I think you make perfect sense. I think it could be taken either way. You know what I mean? So I just don't. Me personally, I don't think Daemon has any good in him, and I just don't think he would even. I think he should have been on the council to check out a Hightower. I think he should have been there on that because he would have been good for that. But I still think that he would have had his own vested interest in mind when it's all said and done. He wouldn't have been doing it for the benefit of his brother. He would have just been doing it for his own benefit.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that point too. Even though Damon, I really do, but I do see those points as well. And I think that Damon, while he does mean well a lot, he can sometimes go about things in the wrong way due to, him being driven to be helpful to his family, because, the first thing that Rhaenyra said when she got back was, I want Aemon Targaryen. And he said, all right, bet, I'm going to get you Aemon Targaryen one way or the other. But I think that him going about it in the way that he did isn't helpful to Rhaenyra's cause. And we're going to see the remnants of that, I believe, in the next episode, based on the trailer that we were given.
It would even been based on the trailer. It's just the fact. You can't murder a child and get respect. I've never seen anyone murder a child and get respect for doing so. And it just makes her look like, like she's known as what in the books with the Maegor with teats, right? Like what they call her after this whole situation goes down, so it just makes her look bad. But again, it's her fault for being with Damon. You knew what type of guy you were going to have, you know what I mean? You knew what type of guy you were getting involved with. And he told those guys, look, they could have been like, what if he's not there? He could have been like, all right, I bought a plan. But he told them what to do. Get another son. It don't matter. You know what I mean? So when you associate, my father used to always say, if you hang around shit, you start to smell like it. And Damon's is shit. And she's starting to smell like it because she's hanging around him.
Sounds like you're a Green sympathizer, but I understand.
I'm not. Not at all. I'm just saying points.
I respect your opinion, but I'm just like, it's giving a little bit of green on there. However, I also respect, your point as well. But also, lastly, and I know I want to get off because I'm sure you probably have other callers, and I really do appreciate you being back and talking with you because that's always fun. Last thing I want to say is I think my favorite character this season is going to be Baela Targaryen.
Okay.
The reason why I think that is because I can assume that she's been given a more expanded role upon how it's compared in the book. But I think that Baela is definitely going to be the one to watch this season in terms of how she steps up to assist Jace and Rhaenyra, and also I think that she is just beautiful. Like I feel like Baela's my House of the Dragon crush, but because she is gorgeous. But also I think she's going to be a formidable adversary for Team Green, and I cannot wait to see what she does on Moondancer and just along with planning and just stuff like that. I think that Bethany Antonia is doing an incredible job at portraying her character, as they all are. But I think for me, Baela's going to be the one to watch this season for sure.
I agree. I think she's going to be an amazing character this season. I think they did expand her role and give her much more. So I think they're doing that with Rhaenyra too, because in the books, Rhaenyra just basically stays home the whole time. They can't have her really doing that. You know what I mean? So I also seen a clip of Alicent Hightower on learning how to do some horseback riding. They had her, so she's going to be on some type of horse this season. For some reason, I don't think she's going to be in battle or nothing, but she's going to, I think they expanded a lot of their roles and get them a little bit more than we see in the books and stuff. But yeah, I agree with you. But yeah, let me say thank you for the call. Call back anytime.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right. Like to hear from you again, man.
All right. Have a good night.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Peace out.
Call from
Rose.
To accept, press 1.
What's going on? You're rocking with the Don Tony Teflon. Who am I speaking to?
Hi, Tony. This is Rose.
Hello, Rose. How are you?
I'm doing well.
All right.
Someone told me after last night's episode or Sunday's episode that Aemon Targaryen is really the father of Helena's children, not the king. And I had never heard that, and I was wondering, what are your thoughts on that?
I think a lot of people like to say things, come up with things, just think that they're cute. As much as we have seen that man willing to have sex from the shows, whether it was chambermaids, whether it was jerking off out the window, I don't think he's going to have any problem impregnating that sister of his. You know, so for that reason, I would say no. Could it be true? Anything could be true in the point, but I just don't think it is. I think that guy was down to have sex anytime and they showed that specifically. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That he was down with that all the time. So I can't see it being. I think they're his kids. We can't have hidden Jon Snow babies in every Targaryen show.
Yeah, because he had bastard children running around in those fight keeps and stuff like that. So I was just like, he's obviously fertile. I don't understand why people think that those children are not his. But more than one person has just told me that. Yeah, you know,
his motto in life is "My couch pulls out, but I do not." You know, because obviously he's got all these babies all over the place. He ain't even trying. He ain't even pulling out of nothing. You know what I mean? So, and they showed it in Game of Thrones too, with Robert Baratheon and all the bastards he had, right? That Joffrey had executed and killed and stuff. So yeah, no, the kings that we've seen, he has no problem doing what he was doing. So I don't buy that myself.
Oh, okay. Because I thought that would be an interesting twist that was his children, but I'm like, no, I don't think that's the case.
You know, when I look at those stories, when people say things like that, I ask myself one question: how does this serve the story, right? And those not being his kids does nothing to move the story forward in any way.
I think people subscribe to that just to make the one-eyed brother more diabolical. Like he doesn't even care about his sister's feelings. He's just taking it whenever he wants to. But it doesn't seem like he's unlucky with the ladies.
Yeah, but that's not his MO. When you look at who he was and everything, even when he was a kid, and they even brought it up about having sex with his sister, he said, "I would fulfill my duty." Like he's duty bound. Like, yeah, I'll do it. I'll marry my sister if I have to, because the brother didn't want to do it. And he was like, listen, I fulfill my duty. I do what I got to do. You know, he's the one who reads the books. He's the one who says I should be king. He's read the history. He's the one who thinks he should be king because of all these things. So I just don't see him going against his brother in that way, because he's very respectful when it comes to the history and the legacy of the throne. So though he may have think he's the better king, I don't think he would ever do anything to usurp his brother's power, because that's just the way it goes.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you so much for your thoughts on that.
No problem. Thank you for calling in.
All right. Have a good day.
You too. Thank you for the call. Keep them calls coming in, man. You know the number. You see it down there, 518-290-0848. I want to hear from you what you thought about this episode of House of the Dragon. And we've been all over the place on the show already, touching about things here and there, and that's the way I like it. There's no need to follow a particular order in the show or anything like that, and start from the beginning and move it along and everything. We always just keep bouncing around and everything else. You know, one thing I would say that didn't look good to me in the show, and the show did a great job with everything. It had a long time to do a lot of things in this show. But the Rhaenyra coming off the dragon, that CGI looked too Star Warsy to me. It just didn't hit right, the way she slid off that shit. Like, she don't move that quick. I've seen how quick she moved. This chick, that was Jedi quickness when she came off that dragon back. Like, she came down that motherfucker like it was a water flume. Like, she just slid off that shit. Like, I have never seen the Targaryens with Jedi quickness before. So for that one thing, that's the only thing I can call. I didn't like the way they had her come off that dragon. I know what they were doing. They wanted to make it look like she was rushing and she was anxious, and listen, I would have rather her come off that dragon and bust her ass, and because she tried to get off so fast and fall on her face, do a roll and crawl over there. That would have been more realistic to me than the way she slung off that goddamn dragon back. She came off there like she had the force, like she was a ninja. You know what I mean? So that, I would say, would have been, you know, a little bit more. That didn't work for me. That's the only thing, though. Everything else in the episode I liked. The blood and cheese, we touched about that. Is it as graphic as what they showed? No. We did talk about, would this be their their red wedding moment. We talked about that in the pregame show. Make sure you come watch the pregame show, the Usual Suspects pregame show. Myself, Phil the Issues Guy, Bridge 4, 6:30 p.m. every Sunday. We'll get you up to 8:30 before the show starts. We'll be here for the whole season. And we talked about it. If this was going to be that red wedding moment for them, would they be able to do that? And would it be too quick? And I just don't think it was. And I never thought it would ever have that hit that the red wedding had, because you didn't have enough time to care about the characters as you cared about Robb Stark. And I told people before, people were like, oh, Jon Snow, Jon Snow. Up until that part, everyone loved Robb Stark more than Jon Snow. All the fans of the show loved Robb Stark. Period. Point blank, end of story. People say they're lying. Robb was the star of that. They wanted him to go down there, kill Joffrey. They wanted Robb to do that shit. They wanted Robb to be the one. So when he died, and his baby, and his wife, and then no one really cared about Catelyn, but that was just the boot she had to go to. You know what I mean? That was a much harder hitting scene than this actual blood and cheese scene. If they would have stuck it right to the book story and had her in there and had Allison in there and all that, and everything was the way it was supposed to be, maybe it would have been better. You know what I mean? Maybe it would have been better and everything. But as I said, I think they did that because they wanted to end the Criston Cole Alicent relationship, right? They need to end that relationship. And we have already seen her say, listen, we can't do this again. Which, listen, I'm a Don, right? Yeah, y'all see me. You know what it is, right? I've had women say this to me before. I've heard that, like, Tony, this is wrong. This is Tony, no, this is wrong. I've heard that many times. And all of a sudden, wrong becomes right. No, Tony, we're just friends. This is wrong. I've heard it many times. Right, so I understand that whole situation. I'm sure a lot of fellas in the chat, y'all know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? We've heard that shit. You know, we heard that shit before. We heard that, and that is no different than Criston Cole sitting there with her being like, come on, let me just the tip, I promise. Just let me put the tip in. And Alicent just like, oh, okay. Just the tip. That's it, though. Just the tip. Yeah, the tip. We all said that line. Every guy in this chat that used the tip. We all said the tip. We used the tip line. You have to use the tip line at one point in your life. Everyone used that shit. That ain't special. Everyone said. So it's a situation like that. Now, they had to figure out a way. We had to figure out a way to end that relationship. This really actually ends it now, right? This ends, and we've seen Criston Cole defend her when Aemon was talking about, the mother. We've seen him defend. You've seen Aemon look at him after he said it. Like, I think it's a secret that's not very well kept. It can't be that well kept if these people don't know how to lock their goddamn door. Like, these doors is just wide open in the castle. You can just walk up in there at any time you want. Like, you would think you just lock the door or something. You know what I mean? You would think it'd be something like that. But they had to end it. This ends it. This will be the end of that relationship. And we all know what happens with Criston Cole when the relationships end. He gets very upset and he gets very violent, right? And that's what we're going to see, the transition, because she's going to end it now. She's going to be like, if we weren't doing this, possibly the kid could have been saved. You could have been out there. I could have been in there. Usually I go in there and read a story to them. I was like, maybe we could have fixed this. And that's what's going to cause her to end this relationship. And then Criston Cole, the butthole, as my man Pete Easy put it there, the butthurt Cole, Cole, right, is going to get up in there and he's going to, now his shit's going to hit the fan. And now he's going to want to go to war and kill everybody. And now he's going to tell Aegon, look what they did to your kid. We got to get revenge. Realize it really is just backed up nut in his body that he doesn't know how to expel properly and got him all tensed up and shit. He probably in bed laying there. I don't know if they got lotions back then. I don't know what they're using back then. I know they got beeswax. That can't be too good. That can't work too well. Right? So I don't know what they're doing here. Thank you, new member Cheryl Baxter, for joining the family. Truly appreciate it. You know what I mean? So I don't know what he's using back then. You know what I mean? So something ain't working. See, he backed up. You know what I'm saying? There's something going on here and stuff like that. You know what I mean? You say they got oil down there? Yeah, oil, yeah. No one want to use oil. Oil too slippery. It's a it's a medium. It's a I'm not gonna talk about it. I will. It's a medium. Oil too. You can't use baby oil. That don't work. Baby oil don't work. So I know you probably don't know that because you're a woman, but I'll say it straight up. You know, baby oil don't work. Baby oil too slippery. You can't have it. It's a medium. You gotta get the right medium. It's gotta be the right consistency. You know, you get the right amount of friction with enough. That's what it is. You know, it's all over the place right there. But the bottom line is what I'm trying to say here is that when Kristen Cole gets spurned by a chick, he always gets extremely violent after. And I think that they set this whole thing up to end that relationship with her and him. And this is what's going to they're going to use this to spurn his anger, and then he's going to use his anger, Carlos, to spit on it. That's some prison shit, Carlos. That's some prison shit, right? All right. I'm gonna tell you a story real quick. Story time, real quick, before we continue. I'm sorry. There was one time I was messing around with this chick named Raquel, who worked at my job, and there was this older, like Jamaican, like Trinidadian Jamaican guy, right? One looked like he was Trinidadian and stuff, and he liked her and stuff. Older guy, and he liked her. I would say probably in his 60s and shit. And he was like, got the accent. I can't do the Jamaican accent. He was like, yeah, man. She's got a nice ass. You need to fuck her in her ass like that. And I was like, really? You know, that was very bold for you to say that. And he goes, yeah, man, what you got to do, man, is you got to get some gel, and you put that gel behind your ear, and you keep it behind your ear. And then when she's not looking, you use your thumb and rub it in, and there pop goes the weasel. That's what he said to me. And I said, God damn, you've been in prison. I've never heard of that before. That's got to be some prison shit, homie. Let's take this call right here.
Call from
Birmingham.
to accept, press 1.
What's going on? You're rocking with the Don Tony Teflon. Who's this?
It's Birmingham. How you doing, Tony?
All right, what's going on? You if you can put yourself closer to the phone or something, you're echoing a little bit so I can hear you better.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I got you. What's going on?
Hey, man, what's going on, man? I'm calling from Birmingham, Alabama, man. I got a question.
Yes, sir.
Are they ever going to get to Daeron Targaryen?
They have to.
Are they ever going to mention him?
Yeah, they have to. He definitely will be. If they don't show him this season, they have to mention he plays too important of a role, you know, for him to edit him out. There's just no way they could do this line, this show without him in it. It's just no way. I can't see them doing this show without I can't see another character that they give his parts to make it happen. So in the end, they have no choice but to have him in the show. So I think he'll definitely be mentioned this season. If we don't see him, he'll definitely be mentioned. But there's no doubt he has to be in the show.
Okay, appreciate that, my brother. Thank you.
All right, man. Thanks for the call.
All right.
One. Yeah, Daeron is too important of a character to leave him out. You know what I mean? Great, very good question and everything else. I'm sorry, people like Tony Tef, like, you're saying stuff, you're all over the place. Listen, man, this is my channel. Fuck you. Say what I want to say, man. And that's it. This is what we do here. You know how I do. If y'all looking for that, listen, we're going to give you that book. We're going to give you that important stuff. I'm going to give you all that. But I'm not going to lecture you. I'm here to have a good time. I'm trying to have fun. You know what I mean? I ain't going to lecture you. This ain't going to be like science class in this motherfucker. We're going to have a good time up in this bitch. All right, let's take this next call.
Call from. To accept, press 1. To send a voicemail, press 2.
All right, we're going to send them.
At any time, you may press star to join the call.
Yeah, we're going to send them the voicemail, whoever that was, because they didn't want to say who their name was. So they probably on some crazy stuff. You know what I mean? They probably on some crazy stuff. Let me say what up to some people in here right now. Carla Way is in the building, rock with us. Mark is up in the building, rocking with us right now. What up to you? Robert is up in the building, rock with us. Sonic, your boy, is up in here, rock with. My man Pete Easy is up in here. Pete Easy. Listen, me and Pete Easy got some business deal going on. Y'all gonna see it's about to happen, man. Let me go back up a little bit here and say what up to people in the, up in here and stuff. YouTube is my time machine is up in the building, rocking with us right now. Who else do we got in here right now? Kaylee's up in the building, rocking with us. Lone Wolf is in here rocking with us. I know I've seen Alicia in here. I don't see her now. I know she stopped in. Maybe I said something, scared her away. But I know Alicia was up in here. Tony JC is up in the building rocking with us. She does the most is up in there rocking with us. Fatima is in the building rocking with us right now. There she is right there, that beautiful woman. What up to you? I kind of love Etsy is in the building rocking with us and everything. Jackie C is in the building. Where's Beef and Bernie? How come Beefy Bernie ain't up in here? Where's she at? All right, let's see. Let's see. We got another call.
Call from
Nettles.
To accept, press 1. To send a...
What's going on? You're rocking with the Don, Tony Teflon. Who am I speaking to?
Hi, it's Nettles. I'm so happy to be on here.
I'm so happy.
I'm
so happy to have you on here.
Woohoo! I have to tell you that YouTube's doing some funny things because I think they've been hiding you from the algorithm.
Think so?
Because it's been months since I've even seen like the notifications that come up that say Tony Teflon, gonna go in 30 minutes or a video drop. I just haven't seen it at all. I'm like, and I didn't even notice until now. I'm like, wait, you've been missing from my life. But YouTube has done that with a couple other YouTubers. I don't like it.
I what?
But I'm here now. I'm just gonna have to be typing your name in, which is fine because the content is there and I need it.
Well, thank you for don't let them. I know that maybe they're doing the shadow ban. Who knows? But but thank you just for checking in and coming back up here and everything else. I appreciate you, Nettles, for rocking with us. What's going on though?
Of course. Okay, I want to pick your brain about this, and this is a personal thing because I'm being attacked for my opinion.
Let's go.
It's like when you're running. It's like you're the teacher and I have to run to you like, teacher, they're being mean to me.
Mm-hmm.
No,
let's get him then. Let's get him. Tell him what's going on.
My thing is, I thought it was very weird that Damon sent Blood and Cheese to do his bidding. I thought it was weird because he didn't know them. And then, like, even as he's talking to them, as he's introducing Blood to Cheese, he's like, okay, here's Blood, and he's gonna follow you. So it's not they didn't know each other.
Mm-hmm.
No, like they didn't flesh out a plan, and Damon just sent them in there to kill, arguably, possibly the best sword in Westeros.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't know whether Damon or Aemon is better, but I'll say they're both tied for 2. So it's like, this is kind of weird because I just hadn't seen Damon do that before. And it's one thing if it would have kind of stayed like with the book, where they were supposed to always go for one of Aegon's sons.
Yep.
Because I think that's fine. Because Damon's not gonna go and try to kill a kid, But if it's to kill his equal, I'm not saying Damon maybe has to do it himself, but why would he trust Cheese? Cheese looks so horrible. Even I wasn't scared of him. Blood and Cheese, they were like the Three Stooges. They were telling jokes or going I wouldn't trust them to do anything for me. So I find it weird that Damon trusted them to do that. Like, do you actually think that he thought they would succeed in killing Aemon?
Yeah, like these weren't like professional hitmen. You would think that if you're doing something on this level, you're going to get a ninja assassin, like somebody who actually has the skill to pull this off, not this two bums from the street who are just doing it for some gold or something like that. So I agree with you on that this was an ill-conceived plot. It seemed like the way they brought him in the books that these guys had their shit together a little bit better. It seemed like they worked together as a team, and it just, and as they showed, they just met each other that day. Like, which way do we go? I'm not supposed to be up there. What do you mean, bro? What do you mean you ain't supposed to be up there? You know what I mean? It was very ill-conceived. And also, in the episode, we seen Daemon like go after Rhaenys, and like, how come you didn't do it yourself? You could have ended the war. He was right there. Why did he do it himself? Why didn't you go up there? You're gonna get mad at this chick, but you ain't gonna go there and do it yourself. And you able to. This guy, I don't know what type of canoe he's got, but this is some stealth bomber shit. Because this guy gets in there and out of there, no problem. No problem. No smuggling, no nothing. Just on a damn canoe. I don't know how fast he could paddle, but he's able to do it, and no one can find him. No one can catch him, especially when we've seen them on high alert for dragons and everything else. So you would think the city's well guarded, but Daemon Targaryen can sneak up in there anytime he wants. All he does is put a hood on his head and call it a day. And if that guy, the blood, if he really was just for the dough, he could have just got more dough than what Daemon was paying him to hand over Daemon.
Exactly.
So
that whole thing was weird. It was weird.
It was. I agree. So anyone giving you pushback on that, they don't know what they're talking about.
Oh yeah, they're like Nettles is stupid. Nettles hasn't read the book.
Oh.
So like, why would Daemon go in there? He would get caught. I'm like, what do you guys think the secret tunnels are? Daemon was the one who put Rhaenyra in a secret tunnel from her room. Remember, Kristen Cole didn't even know that Rhaenyra left her room.
Yep.
Because she had a secret passageway in her room. The room that Kristen and Allison were in. So it's like, I mean, Daemon could. I was thinking if Daemon could have went with Cheese, if Cheese says he knows where to go, Daemon could go with Cheese and come up through a trap door, not be walking around the hall. That was another weird thing. Why were they walking around the castle? Like, oops, not this room. Like,
yeah,
it was weird. Maybe it'll pay off in future episodes. I doubt it, because Blood and Cheese is like a one and done thing.
Yeah, and we even seen with Tyrion, when Tyrion came up for Tywin, he came through the trap door. Boom. And Varys knew where it was at. Oh, you want the hand of the king? Here you go. Go right through this door. He's right here. And boom, he was right there.
Now that I think about it, even Rhaenyra was. Remember, she was spying in season 1 when she was listening to the Strongs talk, Daddy Strong and and Baby Strong. What's his name? Harlan. She came up through some trapdoor because she was listening to them. So it's like everyone knows these secret passageways and they're not being caught. So I don't know. Thank you. I feel vindicated that at least you get it. That it's like the type of man Daemon is. Like, he would want to take on Aemon himself just for the clout, just to have like a worthy adversary to fight against. The same way Jaime wanted to fight Ned because he heard Ned kill some Kingsguard, so Jaime wants to fight Ned because a worthy adversary. The same way Ariel Hota on the show saw Jaime and said, "Dang, if you had 2 hands, this would have been a good fight." The same way the Hound wants to fight his brother. These men want to fight their equals because it's fun.
I hated the way they did Ariel Hota. That was so disgusting.
Yeah.
That was so disgusting. I don't want to go through it now, but that was so terrible how they made that man go out like that.
An 80-pound girl took him out.
Yeah,
80 pounds.
With one little tiny knife. Like she had a nail file. A nail file. She hit him with the nail. He dropped it right in the back, and he just dropped like it was a 50 caliber gun. He got shot, but it was a nail file. He just dropped.
It was over, one and done. There's no maesters, there's nothing for him. That's
nothing. It was over. He just dropped. They did.
But yeah, thank you. I feel vindicated. Everyone who's listening who was mean to me.
That's right. You're 100% right on that. Anyone else is there?
Perfect. Thank you. I'm gonna let you go to your next callers, but thank you for having me on.
Thank you for calling in. Please call back anytime.
Yes. Bye.
Bye. That's the girl Nettles right there rocking with us. Truly appreciate her calling in. Truly appreciate everybody out there. You know what I mean? And that's what it is and stuff. You know what I mean? Yeah, as Alicia said, you know, let's put it out there. And I say this so I tell everyone in the chat, no one is here to attack anyone. It's not. It's a fantasy show, bro. It's not real life. It's not politics, right? Let's have fun. That's what, listen, when I'm here to Don Tony, and I put that video out today about the sex and all that. People put in the comment section, read the books, Teflon. Why don't you read the books? That's not the way it is. Listen, man, I've read the books, and this is my opinion. That's what it is. I have the right to feel I want to do. And listen, let's say, I'm here to have fun, right? If you listen to me, you listen to Phil, Bridgeport, it's the way we do our show. There's very other places out there. They're going to give you the straight books and give you the facts. They're going to give you this, drive it down. You're going to feel like you learned something. Maybe you feel like you learned something here, but you don't realize you learned it because you're having such a good time. Right? That's the way I try to do it here. We're trying to have fun up in this motherfucker. You know what I mean? We're trying to have a good time. So make sure you hit that thumbs up button. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you hit that thumbs up button up in here. We got over 200 people up in here. We gotta have at least 150 likes or something. All right, we got another call. Let's take this call right here.
Call from
The Kickster.
Ooh.
to accept, press 1. To send a
What's going on? You are rocking with the Don, Tony Teflon.
Hey, Tony.
How you doing, Cakester? How's everything?
Everything is wonderful. Happy Juneteenth.
Happy Juneteenth to you today, too. Happy Juneteenth to everybody out there. And all you federal workers who got the day off and got paid. Y'all should be like, Happy Juneteenth. Happy Juneteenth.
Okay.
This is great.
Right. So as far as the episode, I think it was on pace for episode 1. After a big episode from the end of season 1 to the beginning of season 2, it felt like it was right on pace.
Yep.
As far as like what's her name, Allison, I did feel like she was we all know she needs to just go ahead and get that up out of her and Kristen Cole. We know that they need to go ahead and get that released, right?
That's right.
And it does feel like that they was hating on Rhaenyra because she was getting hers regardless. It don't matter what she had going on, she was gonna get hers. And it was like that. It was a little titty envy, if I could say that. Okay, but as far as Kristen Cole and Allison and stuff like that, I just feel like Allison was a little jealous that she was more duty bound. She felt like she had to do what she had to do, and Rhaenyra was out there living her best life. And
I agree with you on that 100%. Allison was definitely more duty bound. You see, even when they showed them as kids and she was trying to teach her the books and teach her the histories, and Rhaenyra was just like, I just want to go travel the world with you and eat cake. I don't give a fuck about none of this.
Right.
And, that's way she just flew by the seat of her pants. It wasn't until she heard the Song of Ice and Fire from her father that she actually started taking this seriously.
Yeah, that's exactly right. The only other part about it is I feel like they kind of drew out her grieving. Like, I understood the grieving and stuff like that, but they did kind of drag out to I don't know what I was expecting, but it was a little dry. And as far as Blood and Cheese, I feel like I didn't like it. I like the book version better. I understand they gotta worry about censorship and all this other stuff. But I just feel like I appreciate seeing it from their side of things, but it just didn't hit the way I expected it to hit. I was all excited and stuff like that, and it didn't deliver for me.
100%. I will say this. It was when we dealt with the Red Wedding, that hit harder for me in the show than it did in the books. And the reverse happened here. In the books, this was a harder hitting scene than it was in the show.
Oh, for sure. And I wasn't expecting it. I wasn't comparing it to any other. I wasn't expecting it to be like Red Wedding or when Jon Snow or Hard Home or something like that. I wasn't expecting it to be that, but I was just expecting just a little bit more. That's pretty much it.
Oh, listen, I thank you for calling and love to hear your voice. I think it's the first time I ever heard your voice and
No,
stuff.
it's like the second or third. Yep.
You know, so definitely love to hear your voice and hopefully you call back.
Oh yeah, for sure. All right, holla.
All right, have a good one, shorty.
All right, bye.
Bye-bye. Listen, everybody in the chat, I'm gonna say this: be respectful. The bottom line is, if you have a wrench, I gave you that wrench for a reason. So I expect you to whack motherfuckers who get out of line. Period. Listen, period. And the first whack, you're gonna give them the timeout, and if they still come back on some bullshit, then they can come back and then you gotta just block them. That's what it is. Now I seen some comment. I'm gonna address it. I probably shouldn't, but there was someone in here who when I was over here saying Happy Juneteenth to people, who said Juneteenth is a fake holiday. Listen, whoever said that, I would love for you to call in right now and explain to me how it's a fake holiday. I would love to hear that. You have the right to your opinion. Explain yourself. Don't just say something. You have a number you can call in and say something. Tell me exactly. I would love to hear if you can explain to me what exactly a fake holiday is, because I don't know that definition. Any holiday is made up. All right, they're all made up.
Yeah, aren't all holidays kind of fake?
Yeah, there's no holiday that is just ingrained in living life. Like it's just not a part of the world. Every
taxes
holiday.
and holidays. No, I mean a holiday is just they decided to put something on a certain day to commemorate something, and
that's
you can celebrate it. That's it.
That's what Juneteenth is. And if people get mad about that shit, then listen, I'm sorry for you. Then, hey, if you're a federal worker, then give back the money and go to work that day and call it a day. No one is obligated to celebrate every holiday. You don't have to celebrate Hanukkah. You don't have to celebrate Christmas. You don't have to celebrate any holiday, Mother's Day, Father's Day. You don't have to.
I don't celebrate Bastille Day. I just don't get into it, Tony. Like Bastille Day
you don't have to. So it is what it is, and everything else. So I just say people it is what it is. You know what I mean? But I just say if you say it's a fake holiday, all holidays are made up. So that really just isn't a. It really just
that finally got me on. I'm like, come on. I'm like sitting in the back room listening. I'm like, every holiday's a damn fake holiday. What the hell?
Yeah, you gotta make sense if you're gonna say something stupid.
Tony, tomorrow is gonna be officially Tony and Phil Day. We're gonna make it a holiday. It's Tony and Phil Day.
That's right.
June 20th is Tony and Phil Day.
I'm with it.
We're making up a damn holiday.
And that is what's up. That's what's up. All right, Phil, you're here. How did you feel about this episode?
I generally thought it was a good episode. I thought having, all okay. I have a different problem with blood and cheese that I'll get to in a second, but I thought like Krispy Kreme, he's sucking pussy now. He's sticking in his crispy. He's crispy, baby. Wow. I mean, I thought that was kind of hilarious stuff, and I thought that was all made sense. I thought all the points you made about Crispy gets dangerous when Crispy gets jealous, and he's not going to handle this situation good. I also think we're dealing with multiple jealous, crazy people when we throw in our foot fetish guy that looked none too happy about Allison having fun with Crispy.
Oh, listen. She's gonna have to put whipped cream on her toes and allow him to lick it off.
Yeah, exactly.
The game is gonna have to step up now, because now that this has happened, he's not just gonna look at them feet. Now he's gonna want to lick them feet. Now you're gonna have to put the Cool Whip on your toes. Yep. I don't think that maybe if they don't have
lemon cakes. What's the sense of lemon cakes?
Little honey.
Little honey
would do it.
Something.
Dip your toes in some honey and let this club foot. What does he have? Elephantitis of the foot? Is that the disease he has?
Sure, we'll call it.
It has to be elephantitis.
He's the elephant man of the feet. Okay,
I think he has elephantitis of the foot. I'm sorry. You're gonna have to let elephant foot man lick that honey off your toes. You put yourself in that situation.
I think so. If she cares about her safety. But the problem I have with the end of the episode, Tony, it's something that I was crapping on it and talking about it in the after show. But it ultimately comes down to, it's not so much, I think a lot of people are going, they wanted something more bloody. They wanted something more like the books. They wanted whatever. They wanted this. My problem with it was just from a simple television standpoint. is if I'm looking at a show like this, and I know it's mainly for people that are a fan of a Song of Ice and Fire universe, and that makes sense. So they want to give you this as more of a character building moment for Daemon. I accept that. That was a choice that they made. The choice I think would have been better is if the only time we see Daemon through most of this, the problem wasn't that our characters weren't built up, Tony, but I agree with that too. It's that it wasn't a surprise. They basically called what was happening. They showed Daemon ordering the hit, and then we see step by step it happening. If we had just seen Daemon and the White Worm talking, like, oh, you know the tunnels of King's Landing, or you know something, like that conversation cuts. Then the next time we see anything about this is the queen being grabbed, is Helena getting grabbed in that moment. It's a shock. You're like, what the hell is going on? You don't know one of the kids is at risk. You don't know that kind of thing. Instead, we just saw the thing slowly happening like a slow motion car crash. And then afterwards, once the disaster happens, you want to make it a Daemon moment, show me a flashback of him talking to them. Like rewind time for a second and have him whispering and then show the cloak. Everything you could do, everything you did in this episode, Tony, but I would have liked it in a slightly different order, because I know some people that were watching this episode for the first time are like, oh, I knew that was coming. That wasn't a big deal, because they literally said, Daemon said, kill one of the kids. And then the two of them just talked like we're friggin' Mo and Larry walking through the tunnels talking about it. So it's not so much about it being too bloody or not bloody enough. I don't care. I think that was perfect. The cut, the sound was tactical. It made me feel. What the problem with it I had, Tony, was the fact that it wasn't a surprise in the episode for people that would be watching it for the first time. A shock.
I am with you. They did not give you that shock factor. They gave you too much, too quick, and you knew what was going to happen. Like, there was no chance that anyone watched that episode didn't think they were going to kill somebody. Now, listen, these guys, thank you, Fernandez T, for donating the 5 memberships. Whoever became a member because of them, if you said thank you to them, that would be very nice. I appreciate it. I just think that when it comes down to it, the execution, as you said, it could have been put in a different order to make that shit hit a little bit harder than it did.
Same things could have happened, Tony. We don't need more bloody baby or any, like, the exact same thing we say. Just cut away, have Daemon talking to the White Worm. Then the next time we see Helena see something, she thinks she sees something, but then the next moment is them just grabbing her, like, bump, and you just hear like a sound cue where it's like she's being grabbed, and that's the moment you're like, what the hell's going on? Like, if you're watching that for the first time, you're like, whoa. I think it's easy to forget that stuff when we know what's going to happen.
Instead, we get the fucking Orkin man walking around this motherfucking, dropping these motherfucking traps all over the place and shit like that. Like, listen, let me tell you something, Phil. If I had to hit somebody, I am not gonna call the Orkin man to do the hit. That's not the person I'm looking for. I'm not looking for the Orkin man. I'm like, damn, I need to kill somebody. Let me call Orkin here.
Tony,
right now.
I said this in
what's going on here.
I said this in the live chat, and I'm going to repeat myself here. If only in this world of Westeros there was some organization that would be expensive enough for, like, a Targaryen to be able to pay for it and specialize in specialty murders. Is there any organization like that in all of the Planetos? Is there any?
Let me think about that.
That would be a good opportunity, Damon. Like, who would you rather go? You go to Idiot, the Orkin man, or do you go to the damn Faceless man? That's a perfect opportunity.
You got the money. The Faceless men are there,
and he lived over there, right?
You're talking about killing, the king's brother. I think you just pay the Faceless men to go in there and do the job for you. You pay the price. You don't bring the Orkin man in there.
I might be an idiot, right? But, like, you go to the Faceless men, right, Tony? Like, if you were Daemon in that situation and you wanted Aemon dead, which was the hit by Rhaenyra, it was to kill Aemon, not just one of the kids.
Yep.
Wouldn't you go to the fine-tooth, like, pen assassin, not like a big dumb exterminator, rat exterminator? Like, what?
I am with you 100%. You bring in the Faceless men in this situation. You don't just bring in the goddamn extermination. It just doesn't make no sense to me. It was sloppily done. I'm happy to see it, but come on, these guys. This was Laura Hardy. Laura and Hardy going in there.
It was totally like I was gonna say Siskel and Ebert, like, it was totally Laura and Hardy. Who's on first kind of shit going on situation.
There. I don't know where to go.
Tony, do you know what it most was? It was Pinky and the Brain. You're watching Pinky and the Brain.
Yeah, I would say that they're smarter though. At least one of them is
yes.
smart. Right, both of them were idiots and stuff. Let's take Girl Nettles. Thank you for the super chat. She says, "Marry, kill, shag." Alicent, Helena, the White Worm. All right, I'm gonna let you answer.
Oh,
first.
you're gonna me? You're going. That's the tough one. Okay, I would. Oh God, no, Tony. This is a tough one, right? This is actually a really tough one.
It's pretty easy for me.
It's pretty easy. So go. Go out here. What you have to say.
Right, I'm going to marry Alicent because I want to hit it more times.
Fair.
So I want to just keep hitting that forever. So I'm marrying Alicent. I'm gonna shag Helena because the White Worm just doesn't do it for me.
Fair.
I've seen her with Damon. I've seen her naked with Damon. She the moans that came out of her just didn't excite me.
No, I know.
So this for that reason, you got to have a very sexy tone with me. Like I expect some good moans. The moans she hit me with this didn't do it for me. So no, she gonna get killed. Helena seems like she's happy all the time.
Yeah, she'd be fun. That's why.
It'd just be fun. So I hit it once, but Alicent, I'm gonna hit that 50 times a day, every day, forever.
I think for me, I would be very similar, except I just flipped the two. I think long term, that positive energy that Helena has, I would want that in my life long term. She's just so happy and loves, like, I think her and I have would match energy. We're both like uppity. Like I think that would work. I would definitely shag Alicent. It would be a one-time thing, but it would be a long day. And I guess I would kill the White Worm because even though the accent is better this season,
it is better. The accent,
it's better. It's way better. In this one episode, it was better than all last season. They improved on it.
I think they talked to her like they talked to Littlefinger. they talked to the actor who played Littlefinger. He came in with this fucking accent. They said, "Listen, bro, listen, we got to do something about this." All right, let's take this call before we answer that next super chat. I'll get to the super chat. I promise you.
I'm gonna go fill a drink. I'll be right back.
Call from
Marcus.
To accept, press 1.
What's going on? You're rocking with the Don Tony Teflon, Phil the Issues guy.
Hey Tony, hey Phil, it's Marcus again. Phil, it's great to see you. Something that Phil said about Helena really made the gears turn in my head. You know how she's a dragon dreamer and everything, right? Do you think that there are going to be certain events that we will see Helena have premonitions about that we as the audience will have to try to decipher? Because I think how they could do it is make it ambiguous enough so that we have a hard time figuring it out. But do you think that we will see those dreams manifest in a certain way in Helena, like seeing it visualized? That's my question.
No one believes her, right? So no one believes anything she said from day one. Since she was a child, she's been saying these things, and she's been right every time. Oh, if you want to get dragon, you got to close your eye. Everything she's saying, no one's ever picked up on, like, oh, this chick know what she's talking about. I don't know.
Correct.
I don't want to spoil stuff for the show for people who haven't, read the books. But I just don't know if, how could I say it, how the length of time that we're going to be able to see anything like that.
Okay, so you don't think that maybe for some events, I'm not going to say anything like which events, but I think that there could be a situation where this event, Blood and Cheese happening, puts a light bulb in some of their heads, possibly, where the next time that she has a premonition about something bad happening, we can see it happen as she's experiencing it.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if they'll do. I think that they're gonna, because she's going to lose her mind a little more than, she's going to be a little bit more erratic because of what happened, and and I think that they're just going to look at it that way because they don't know what she has. There's no definition at this time. There's no doctors have diagnosed her, so that's why they've always treated her this way because they don't realize what she actually has, and everything, that she's autistic. I believe she's autistic on the spectrum. They haven't confirmed that, but I believe she is. And I don't think they just don't know how to handle it. So I think that's would be the issue with that whole situation.
Correct. But I think the way that I'm, framing it is if it's from her point of view. You know what I mean? Because a lot of times we're hearing, those things said from other people hearing it. But I think that what they could do with Helena is give us a premonition from her point of view. That's what I think. That's what I'm kind of alluding to. Do you think that they would do that?
What do you think, Phil? We think they would show a premonition through her point of view in this show?
I don't.
Yeah, I think that they could, or have those small moments where we see it from her eyes.
No, I'm asking Phil to answer.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Phil.
No, you're good. He doesn't know. He can't hear me right now. But I don't know. They haven't spent enough time on her for me to believe that they're going to flesh out her character. So I'm afraid that she's going to always be sort of not, even in this event, this big event, to your point, Tony, we didn't spend enough time with her to feel it as much from her end. So I hope that they do that. I think Marcus puts up an excellent point.
I'm still listening on the TV as well.
Oh, sorry, cool. Awesome, dude. I'm glad you're listening. But I think he makes an excellent point of what should happen to explore her character, but whether the show takes the time to do that, I hope so. I'm not sure because they've not given her the fleshing out that she deserves at this point, personally.
Yeah, I agree. I just don't see them spending the time with her to do that. I don't think it will go like that. I think she might have one more that she says, and then it will just be said like she's always said it, and then it's going to be over.
Got you. Okay, yeah. It's just something that Phil said. I forgot what he said particularly, but that really put, that thought in my brain, because I think that would be really cool if because, in the books, we see when Dany has dreams from her point of views and things like that. It would be cool to see that manifested in Helena as well in this show, because it gives us some more insight into the dragon dreams and how they are visualized in the Targaryen that has them. You know what I mean? So that's all I had. Also, one last thing. I know I keep saying that, but one last thing.
More.
Do you think that when it comes to Daeron, I think that when we see Old Town and we see a certain someone go back to Old Town, do you think that is when Daeron and that character will have that conversation and that's when we see him? Or do you think that they'll save his physical appearance for season 3? Because I know that they said that, okay, we're going to have him mention things like that. But I also think what could happen is when one of the people that's in King's Landing now has to go back to Old Town, we see them have a conversation about what is going on in King's Landing and how they can be and how Daeron can be involved in that. And Daeron says, okay, cool, what do I have to do? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I understand exactly what you're saying, but whether they show him this season just really comes down to whether they casted an actor to play him this season. I know he'll be mentioned this season, but I don't know if they're going to go into the parts. I mean, depending on where they chop it up, where he's going to be involved in it and everything else. It would really seem to me that there's no way out for him being in season 3 and season 4. Mm-hmm. If they're doing 4 seasons, like they have to have him there, they may be able to skate by without having him. From the list of the events that we think are going to take place this season, I could see them not having him in this season, but mentioning him or sending for him. And then he shows up, either early next season or something like that.
Okay, got you. All right, well, I just wanted to share those 2 thoughts. Thank you guys so much for allowing me to come back on. And Phil, great to see you again. And just thank you guys again. All right, take care.
Thank you for the call. Appreciate the call 100%. Let's get right to the super chat that we have right there. We got 2. Let's go through. Kelly Johnson says he walked through the whole place being seen by everyone, talking about the Shadow Master, David Targaryen. He did walk through, and all those other people, they just walked through. I mean, these people were not cat burglar material. They were terrible. 100%.
No, and like Aegon's hanging out with his frat boy buddies on the Iron Throne, drinking beers, and they're like, I said they were in my recap. I said they were like NPCs in the background in like a role playing game. Like they were just talking shit to each other and like ignoring what was going on. These like 2 assassins tiptoeing through.
Definitely. What? All right, let's take this call.
Call from
Alicia.
There we go.
To accept, press 1.
What's going on, Shorty Rock? How are you?
It's me, Alicia.
I know who you are. That's why I called you Sugar.
Okay, fine.
I know who you are, damn it.
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm good. How's everything? You all right? You good?
Yeah, I know y'all are talking about blood and cheese, and there's just something on my mind that is bugging the teetotal crap out of me.
All right, I'm going to get to this guy real quick and deal with his question because he put the super chat. He wanted to see it. All right, go ahead, Alicia. Talk to us.
So I know there are a lot of people that their big critique of blood and cheese was they feel like it was supposed to be like a red wedding, and I totally disagree with that altogether.
Okay.
And B, they felt like there should have been more emotional gravitas around it.
All right.
I think to save time, I'm just gonna address A with the whole red wedding thing.
Yep.
Like, correct me if I'm wrong, but at no point does George himself compare blood and cheese to the red wedding?
I have never heard him compare that to the red wedding.
Nor I. I think it's one of those things where, like, we as a fandom we've been chasing this high since the red wedding.
Mm-hmm.
So we kind of assigned that blood and cheese was going to be like the red wedding when we knew House of the Dragon was adapting Fire and Blood. But anyway, in Fire and Blood, I feel like Jaehaerys was like named in passing, maybe like 2 or 3 times mentioned. Like, we get just about as much time with him in the books as we do in the show. In fact, I think we get more time with him in the show. But anyway, it just bugs me that people say they didn't adapt the books well, because honestly, like, not a whole lot of people are actually trying to see that violence towards kids on screen, especially with what's going on overseas and all that other stuff. B, I feel like a lot of people that don't understand how productions work always have a lot to say about how things should go down. My whole thing is, like, I think blood and cheese should be given more grace. Okay. Helena is autistic coded. I realize it's not canon. I don't think we were supposed to have a lot of emotional gravitas as much as we need to view this as an extreme that the Greens are going to go to. Like, I realize it's very shocking in the books, but I don't think we had an emotional attachment to it in the books too. Like, this is supposed to be a kickoff event, not like in itself. But anyway, I just wanted to rant about that. But I want to know y'all's thoughts.
I appreciate the rant. I look at it a little different. I know that we asked the question, was it going to be that event? I think that when people read this author's books, that because they got the red wedding, they think that in every story we're going to get a red wedding or a Ned Stark. We're going to get something like that in the story because that's what people expect. So I could see why people thought it would be that. In the end, what me and Phil talked about earlier, I just don't think it was executed properly in the sequence that they did it to make it as gripping. And I think that they could have did it a better way to make it a little bit more gripping for the fans.
How would you have done it?
We just explained it, Phil. Phil, explain it again. Where's Phil?
Oh, I'm here, but she can't hear me.
All right, so you can't hear Phil.
Confession, at one point, I did get up to go use the bathroom.
Oh, thank you. I don't know what that was good.
I'll explain it when we get off the call.
If I missed it, it was probably in those moments.
All right, so
it was basically just that
Phil's gonna explain it. You may not be able to hear him, but he's gonna explain it right now.
I'll explain it. Well, let's do like a telephone game where I'll tell you. So
one thing I will say, as far as, like, by the time Blood and Cheese were in Helena's room, yes, there are a few things here and there that could have been done better. Oh, sorry, am I talking over Phil?
No, you're not. He's not speaking. He's waiting for you to stop.
Okay. But once they were in the kids' bedroom with Helena, there are only really a few tweaks that I myself would do, but I do fully admit their trek to the kids' room was done very sloppily.
Yeah.
Even the way that Damon hired them was done very sloppily. And, like Girl Nettles brought up a ton of points. I feel like the only way that they'd be able to, like, really save this going forward is, I realize I'm rabbit trailing. I think the only way they're going to save that going forward is, like, maybe Damon slightly wanted them to botch it. I don't know. There's just a lot going on.
Yeah,
there,
we're not gonna give Damon that pass. He wanted them to buy. He just hired the dumbest people to do the job. What I'll do is I'll let you hang up. I'll let Phil explain it so then you can hear it, and then you can call back if you want to respond to Phil.
He wants to tell me I'm full of shit.
I think we're going to give somebody else a call or a chance to call on the line, and then I'll just address whatever needs to be addressed in the chat.
Okay. All right. You can.
Yeah. Love you guys, though.
All right. Love you too. Peace out.
Okay.
That is Alicia from our sister podcast, Direwolf City. Go check out Direwolf City 100%. Phil, just so Alicia, so she can hear it, because you said it earlier, I don't want to put words in your mouth, so I'll allow you to say it again. How you would have exactly done this to make this a little bit more better for the viewers.
First of all, I do think that she makes some excellent points, especially about the chasing the high of the Red Wedding, or I would say even maybe chasing the high of the Ned Stark thing that happens in season 1. And you mentioned that, Tony. It's just, it's that situation. And I also agree that this is a different kind of event. But I guess how I would have done it, just from a simple standpoint of production and how you present the scene, is I would have had because you make an excellent point, Alicia, that the scene with Damon or with them walking through was the worst part, because it was like you could just see what was about to happening, and it sort of, you just kept waiting for it, watching it through. How I would have done it is when Damon's talking to the White Worm at that moment, sort of from there, and then not see Bud and Cheese get their orders from Damon, have it almost the next time we see anything of it, maybe Lena sees something in the background, but it cuts to in her room where they grab her, bam, and then the scene plays out exactly the same way. And then after everything happens, then if you want to do a flashback, which I would have liked in that sense, and then show Damon talking to them, it just would have been framing it in a different order. So the scene as presented would have been just a little stronger. For me, anyways. Not like it was a choice. Like, again, it's not, I'm not saying it was a bad choice. I'm saying I would, whoever the hell I am, my idiot self that doesn't run television shows is sitting out here. I would have done it a little different in the same scenes, the same scene shot.
I hear you. All right, let's take this call. This person called back twice, so let's see if it stays on. Oh, they're going.
Sorry, caller. That was my fault.
Yeah, call right back, caller. 315. That's a Utica area code. Someone in upstate New York. Call. So yeah, call right back. And if you call right back right now, we'll take your call.
Yeah, I had the soundtrack of The Ring in the background, having to explain that. I felt like I was on a game show. I kept hearing the game show music, like, give your 10 answers, Phil, now.
All right, let's go through these super chats real quick. Rose, thank you for the super chat. For Tony and Phil, if you could settle in one part of Westeros, where would you live and why? I'm going to the Arbor for the wine.
That's a good one.
We'll take the call. We'll leave the question up, and then we'll do that.
Yeah, we'll take it afterwards.
Call from nonfiction. To accept, press 1.
What's going on? You're rocking with the Don Tony Teflon. Who am I speaking to?
Nonfiction.
Nonfiction. What's going on? Can you talk a little bit closer to the mic so I can hear you a little bit better?
Can you hear me better now?
Yes, I can. All right. What's good, girl?
Okay, so the thing about Blood and Cheese is, if you take it away from the books, I think that, especially when Damon made that offhand comment like, oh, he's a good swordsman, good luck, I don't think he necessarily thought they would succeed. I think it was more to show them they can be touched, because through the whole episode, they're like, oh, we got Vhagar, we'll do this, and we got Vhagar, we'll do that, and they think they're untouchable because they have Vhagar. And I think that's another reason why there wasn't really any guards around the castle, because they don't realize that they're actually like in danger.
That's a very good point. I didn't think of that, in all honesty, but it could have been a way for them to show that, listen, you are touchable, even with all your defenses. That's what he did. I do think he went there to kill him because he gave them the backup, right? So he thought, like, hey, if this person isn't there, what am I going to do? Well, you're going to take one of their sons, so the son for a son. So I do think that he wanted them. He thought that they could be successful. Obviously, he doesn't know if it's actually going to be if it's going to happen or it's not going to happen. That's why I only gave him half the money. But your point is well thought out. I do believe that maybe that's what the showrunners were going for, but I don't know if that was Damon's exact plan. I think Damon did think they would get there, but it could have been in the back of Damon's mind too. You know what I mean? So it does work either way. So I agree with you on that.
I mean, my biggest complaint about Blood and Cheese was like, oh yeah, I know the tunnel's like my cock, but then they walked through the front door, like he didn't take any tunnels.
It was very sloppy.
Great point.
It was very sloppy. Like these aren't assassins. Again, we just talked about it. If you want to assassinate a king or something, you got to get a faceless man. Why are you bringing in the Orkin man to kill people, to assassinate someone of that stature? It's a poorly thought out plan.
Right. Because Damon is more, he's not, I mean, yeah, he's impulsive, but he's not stupid. He's like Otto. We got to get people to our side. We got to go to this house. We got to go to that house. He's not like kids where they're like, we're just going to show up here with our dragon and we're going to go over there with our dragon. And we got dragons. So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I figured he just sent them in there. If something did happen, it's a plus. But either way, it was to show them, y'all, just because you have Vhagar doesn't mean nothing.
Yeah, well, he was ready to go down there and take on Vhagar. That's what he wanted to do in the beginning of the episode, right? So he was just like, let's go take out Vhagar. You come with me. We'll take Vhagar out, and then it's over.
He wanted the championship fight.
Yeah, Rainey.
You know what I mean? No. That's what he wanted. He wanted to do that right from the beginning. So, you know, he definitely, and I think, and in all honesty, that would have been the right plan to do in my case. If she would have agreed, I would have just got the queen to go on board with me and say, listen, we're going to go take out Vhagar. And them two go down there and take out Vhagar. And this ends this whole thing. It's very fast. It's not hard for either side to win this war if they really want to win this war, but they just keep pussyfooting around it. And I think that's the problem with both sides.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I just wanted to point that out. Because even when I watched the episode, I was annoyed too. Like, there's no guards anywhere. But after thinking about it, I'm like, oh, because you know, they think that no one can do anything to them because they have Vhagar.
Yeah, I agree with your point. I think you're right on with that.
So I just wanted to come and say that I love you and Phil. I know I can't hear Phil, but
but I can hear you.
Well, thank you. Phil said he loves you too.
Oh, I hope you guys do a boys stream at some point, please, pretty please.
A what?
Boys. And I'll have Tony on to
like no one knows it's on because everyone's talking about the dragon.
I watched the episode. I would love to do a boys stream.
Tony, there's two shows that you and I need to cover in a joint stream: The Boys and Interview with the Vampire. Both those shows.
Right. We will do The Boys and we'll do Interview with the Vampire.
I know you watch that too. I'm pretty sure.
Yep.
Okay.
Great show. Great damn show. Interview with the Vampire.
All right, thank you for the call. Truly appreciate it.
Yeah, Tony, Interview with the Vampire. Great show. Season 2 for me is just as good as season 1. I don't know if you've started.
Yeah, I have, and it is good. Listen, Alice Stant is the greatest vampire. I don't care about any Tom Cruise. He's the best at it.
This guy playing that role is amazing. And I did not know that Grey Worm had this acting ability in him. He kills this role, dude.
No, Grey Worm. If y'all never watched Interview with Vampire, Grey Worm, the actor who played Grey Worm, is the main actor in this show.
And he brings Brad Pitt to fucking school, Tony.
Yeah, he just kills us. All right, let's take this. Let's go through the super chat. Tony and Phil, if you were settled in Westeros, where would you live? So where would you live? In the land where they worship tits and gods?
I mean, legitimately, I want to. My initial instinct would be to say Dorne because of my, interests. But I would say ultimately, I would probably settle in Highgarden because that's where all the good plants are grown.
Yep.
It also has a freedom up there, and all those plants. Tony, that's where the good stuff is. The Dorne stuff is probably dirt. You know what I mean? Like the stuff I'm getting up in Highgarden is going to be like the high end hydroponic.
Yeah, you're going to get the best weed in Highgarden. I'm with you. Highgarden. I don't think it's even close.
Yeah, Highgarden's where you're hanging.
You live in Highgarden. I think anyone who's smart, me personally, I go to Highgarden. Jaden NYC, thank you for the super chat. It's done. It sure is, goddammit. So thank you for the super chat. Truly appreciate that.
Yeah, Reen, it is a great show. I'm really enjoying it. It's one of my a surprise show. It's one of those shows.
Marcus, Phil ain't looking for wine. That ain't the problem. He's looking for the most fertile soil.
Exactly. I can settle with the mead up there. I'm not picky with my drinking.
Yeah, you try. Why they?
Unless I want to hang out with the Queen of Thorns, and like she'd be like me and her would buddy up at some point. Like,
yeah, I would just be chilling out there. It's just the best weather all around.
Yeah, dude, it's like good times, good energy. There's like nothing bad's happening in Dorne, you know, or not Dorne. I mean Dorne, but that's the thing. Dorne would be fun. I'd visit Dorne often, but Highgarden's where I settle.
I'm not going there. I don't want no sand like that around me. That's too much sand.
I hear you. It is, and there's lots of bad kitty cats there too.
Yeah, I would just chill in Highgarden. It's easy life. I'll just chill there, call it a day, and that's it. It's not.
Hi ho.
It's not close. It's not close to me. Like
you're not going to the Iron Islands.
No,
you're not hanging out on the wonderful, beautiful stone ship.
They have nothing there that I would hang out. King's Landing is shit.
Okay, to ask the reverse question, Tony. Where, I mean, I guess the easy answer is just the Wall, like up north. But besides the lands of always winter, where would you least like to live in?
I'm not living in the north. I'm not living where
anywhere. Yeah, anywhere in the north is.
No, I'm not going in Alaska. I wouldn't move to Alaska today. There's nothing you could do to get me to move to Alaska today, unless it was like
unless or Alaskan radio station was offering us like a job as
it would have to be like a big job like that. Or Allison's got to be on some type of polar bear back naked coming towards me or something.
You're auditioning for the new crispy roll or something.
Yeah, it would have to be like that. You know what I mean? They have to call me the pole.
I hate the sand. Yeah,
that would be my nickname, the pole.
It's so scratchy. I hate the sand.
That's the way we have to go down. Everything.
The pole.
Call the pole.
The legend of the pole has been long.
What they say? He's the real North Pole up in this motherfucker. Yeah. Well, what else happened this episode besides that? Is there anything else big that happened this episode that we can really talk about?
I mean, there was just a lot of lead up. I think the thing that I talked a little bit about was just, and I don't mean this because people are so side oriented here. I'm talking about a simple acting performance. I loved Aegon in this episode. He was enjoying that actor was enjoying every damn scene he was in. Aemon's good. They're all good, but I'm saying like his dealing with like when they brought the people to be like the goat thing, like, oh, get this man a goat. Oh, we don't have to tell anybody about the damn goat. Like it just was cracking me up. And then like his sort of like no ability to deal with Otto and like his like as much as I am all about like fuck Otto, like fuck Otto. No one is bumping my song more, Tony, than Aegon. Aegon is all about it. And then the scene with all of his frat buddies, I mentioned it earlier, sitting on the Iron Throne when the Blood and Cheese are walking by.
They call him the dragon cock.
They call him the dragon cock. Like that's just something you and I would come up with. There was just something like hilarious about scenes with him in this episode. He's a shit.
It shows that he's just not a king.
No, but he's also not a mean guy like Joffrey. He's just an idiot.
No, he's not mean. He's just young.
He's an idiot
and impressionable, and he's kind of an idiot. Yeah, you know what I mean? And that's just what it is. He was thrusted upon this position that he didn't want until he heard the crowd cheer for him, and that's the only time he wanted.
At that point.
He's not. As I said, certain people make good kings. Like Rob Baratheon's a great warrior, but he's a shitty king. You know what I mean? Stannis would have made a better king, but Stannis is too tough to be a great king because he would have went straight by the book too much. You know what I mean? So it's an in-between area you have to get in there between Robert and Stannis to become like a really good king, a king of the people and stuff, So he's just a child, and that's the problem. You know what I mean? I don't blame a lot on him and stuff because he's a child and he's been thrusted into this position.
But I want to be clear, Tony. Just before, I'm not defending him as in any single way I just think the actor was hilarious on screen.
No, he did a great job. The actor did a great job. And I said, when we come down to it, I mean, would Rhaenyra be a better queen if she sat the Iron Throne?
Fuck yes.
I think she would. It depends who a hand of the king is too.
Yeah.
Like if
Daemon
hand of the king is Daemon, then it's a bad move. If Corlys Valerian's a hand of the king, then she's gonna be a great queen.
Yeah.
You know, because the hand is important. You know what I mean? It's an important position and everything. You have to be there. You know what I mean?
Or it should have been the daddy strong, and the other strongs should never been burnt. Like he would be a great hand for her too. Like in the
100%. 100%.
I forget his name. Daddy. I'll call him Daddy Strong. Whatever. You know.
Yeah. 100%. He would have been there. He would have been a good hand of the king too for him. For her, you know, so it really comes down to the people around you and everything else. And Otto, you know, gave him the right answer, but Otto. Let's take this call.
Call from
Prince Aegon.
To accept, press 1. To send a voicemail, press 2.
All right, KP, what's going on, man?
Listen, what's up? Phil, how you going? I know I probably can't hear you, but you can hear me. So what's up, Phil? Hope things are doing well.
Thank you, KP.
So last time I called, I didn't get really to talk about what I really wanted to talk about.
What do you mean? You talk for 8 minutes, bro.
Phil, well, I talk about stuff, but I have more stuff to talk about.
Go ahead, baby.
Phil brought up a good point. Aegon is as good of a book portrayal of Aegon as you could want, and I think, quite frankly, he should win some. If he continues this vibe, he continues along this road. By the end of this season, he might become my favorite Targaryen. But right behind that's just for this episode, right? But right behind him is Aemon and Daemon, and then Rhaenyra is not too far behind. I think Aegon. When we look at the blood and cheese thing, my question might be about 2 questions. So my first question is: do you expect Aegon to legitimately be upset about the death of his son, or is he more so hurt because his own belief in his invincibility has been fractured? So is he mad because his son was killed, or is he really mad because his ego has been fractured and his belief in his own infallibility has come crashing down? I am on the second. I'm on the second one. I believe it's more of him. It's more of he's more mad at his ego and his infallibility being touched, because he really did believe that he was infallible. Just by looking at the way he treated Tywin Lannister in his small council meeting, telling him to give Jaehaerys a pony back, right? Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? We're having a cabinet meeting. You bring your son out here for one of the 5 most powerful men in the fucking kingdom. You want this guy, instead of sitting on to talk to you about the coin, you want him to give your child a pony back, right? Like, are you serious, bro? No, you're not serious. That's why you're going to lose. So that's one thing. And the second thing I would ask, and you guys could discuss, compare, and contrast. But I would wonder, what do you guys think? What, in your opinion, is your favorite scene from this episode?
Okay, that's the question.
Excluding Kristen Cole's interesting meal. Excluding that scene, what would you guys say was your favorite or most powerful scene in the show? I would go first. I would say my favorite and most powerful scene was when Rhaenyra just came back and said, "I want Aemon Targaryen." that was, to me, that scene and her attitude and her eyes and everything in that scene, I think it gives you a very good idea of the lengths that she is now willing to go to to get and maintain her throne. That it seems as though now all bets are off, and there's nothing that she's not willing to do, which is a marked difference from the woman we had in episode number 10 or whatever from last year.
What was the question?
It was all about.
All right, we got.
Let's chill. Let's wait. Let's see what happens. Now she's ready to kill people.
Oh, I remember. What our favorite scene was.
We'll be done in a minute. So yeah, let's discuss that a bit.
All right, my brother. I will discuss that right now. We'll speak to you again later. Thank you for calling in. All right, Rich. So, but he said a lot there.
But the big thing is, what was my favorite scene? I have an easy one that, not easy, but my favorite scene of the episode was, you mentioned it earlier, was Damon and Rhaenys. Like the come kill Vhagar with me scene. Those were like two amazing actors.
I like that scene
doing
too.
really awesome work with each other. Bouncing. We didn't get enough scenes of them or any real one-on-one scenes with them last season. And both actors have really great chemistry on screen together. And that was probably my favorite scene of the entire episode. Like there was a lot of good scenes, but that one was awesome.
I like that scene. I like the scene of Rhaenyra riding this dude. He said I couldn't use the other scene. I mean, Alicent. So the hip work on her was like the hula hoop. Like she looked like I bet you the actress has used the hula hoop in her life very vigorously, and she used.
I'm trying to remember Bates. I'm trying to remember Bates Motel if there's ever.
She used it good. She was like Smokeahannes on that hula hoop. You know what I mean? She was doing the thing. So I like that scene. You know what I mean? I ain't gonna lie about it. But definitely the Rhaenyra. Rhaenys Damon scene is the best scene up there without a shadow of a doubt. As for what he said when he said as for what he said when he was talking about it was Rhaenyra saying that I'm willing to do anything. We know that's not the case because she knows she's going to get mad at Damon for what Damon did. So she's not that war hungry where she's willing to do anything for it. She's not willing to do that yet. She's just going to do it's just going to be a situation where she just wanted him. She was upset at the time, but that's why her and Damon are going to be on the outs when it's all said and done.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You know what I mean? So I don't think that she's willing to do anything, because if she was willing to do anything, then she would be like, oh, you killed the kids, so what? And again, as she says, we hear in the preview, what your actions reflect me. You know, you're doing shit. And they're gonna look at Damon as doing it. They're gonna look like I gave the order.
Yep,
and do that.
And to be fair, the Don gave not Don Teflon, the Mafia Don, there, Rhaenyra in this equation, gave the hit specific. And to our point, not meaning to reiterate again my Faceless Men point, but specifically which one of those kids she wanted dead. And Damon should have made sure not to hire somebody that would know specifically which one of those kids to kill. The one that Rhaenyra actually wanted dead. That was what she should have got the pound of flesh she wanted to get. Damon bumbled what she wanted. That's the most important part.
She just wanted Aemon. When you know we talk mafia situation, when the hit is on the one person, you don't go kill that person's son. You only kill that person. That's who the hit is. That's what it is. That's the way it goes, and everything else, and that's it. And it's a done situation, you know what I mean? So that's what it's supposed to be. They fucked the hit up, and now she's gonna have to face the consequences of it, having a bad reputation in the hood. And then that's gonna lead people to side more with the Greens, because they're gonna say this chick's a monster, and that she's willing to kill children. And that's it. It's not a good look all around. No way around it. No matter what Damon was thinking, it was not going to work out in her favor. You know what I mean? He should have just told those people, if he's not there, abort mission. Call it a day. It's a done deal. Abort mission, and we'll figure something else up. But in the end, he hired two bungling idiots to do a job that
the Keystone Cops, Tony.
Yeah, this is a stupid. The hire was just dumb. Who are these guys? But in the books, they seem more sinister. They seem more capable. These guys were just, this guy just looked. He looked crazy. He didn't want it. It looked like he didn't even want to do it. And then when they did kill the kid, like it was like American Me the way they were stabbing him. Like he's a baby. It doesn't take that. You stabbed him so much and was so fixated on doing that she was able to grab the baby, walk down the hall, and get out of there while you're still doing this mess. It doesn't take a lot to kill a baby, I would think. You don't have to be down there stabbing a kid 90 times.
People unfortunately do it by accident all the time. It's not that hard.
Yeah, they just took the eyes off of her and both had to do it. Like, it doesn't make sense because one person could have just did it while holding a hostage and everything else. You know what I mean? They just stabbed her up. They just stabbed this kid up, and they were enjoying it. They were doing it so much.
You don't need to stab no baby. You just need to shake a baby. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you can shake a baby.
You just have to shake a baby, Tony. You don't have to stab no baby.
100%. Thank you, Rose, for becoming a member. Let's take this.
I'm sorry. That's horrible. I'm going now. I'm Joffrey right now. I have to keep doing it.
KP, what's going on, man?
Well, I had to call back because you guys said something and it niggled me.
Let's play.
So when Rhaenyra said, "I want Aemon," I know you guys were discussing saying that she really did want Aemon, and he should have just kept. He should have just tried to just kill just Aemon. I read it differently. There's a well-known story about Henry II of England. He had a best friend called Becket, and eventually he had some situations with the Pope, and he decided to make Becket the Archbishop of in charge of England. So he had a guy, his side, who was in charge of England. Unfortunately, Becket really liked God. So he was like, if God gives me a command, the king gives me another command, I'm going with God. So there was some issue that they were at odds about, and they're at a little banquet, and Henry stands up and says, "Would no one rid me of this petulant priest?" Now, a couple of his knights were there. He never told the knights, "Yo, you over there and kill Becket." Never said that. He made an outburst. Whether he intended for other people who were around to actually act on the outburst or not, and how he expected them to act on the outburst, who knows? But you are a landed knight to a king. And this king just said that he wants to be rid of a petulant priest. So you know what those guys did? They took a boat, they went to England, found where the priest was.
Real quick, Kay.
And they cut his face.
Real quick, Kay. I understand what you're saying, but that's not what the show showed. The show showed us specifically, they said to Daemon, "What if we don't find them?" And then they went to Daemon's face and paused to show that Daemon gave the order to kill a son for a son, because they didn't come up with
correct.
The word. They specifically said, he said a son for a son. That was the word they gave them. So he gave that. Correct. He's the one who gave that order to do that. So we can't just say these guys just got happy to do it, and they just
no. That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. Let me be clear. What I am actually saying is, Rhaenyra is the queen. Rhaenyra knows her words have power. Even if she did not intend for this to happen, it is her fault, and she has to. It's not
all right. Let me break it down to you like this, right? Break it down. Break it down.
Break it down
Real quick. If there's a mafia dude, right, and you say we're gonna go whack Joey Meatballs, right? Joey Meatballs has got to go.
He laughed
at those guys who did the hit. The only if they kill Joey Meatballs and then kill Sal Salami, and Sal Salami was a made guy, those guys who did the hit are gonna get killed for killing Sam Salami.
Yeah,
because you were only ordered to hit the one person you were ordered to hit. That's it. That's the way it goes. So
in that situation, Tony, In that situation, I agree with you. In this situation, I don't. I'll tell you why I don't in this situation. Because we have to look at the reason why why is Rhaenyra sending this hit, right? Because one can argue whether it was a hit or not. I agree with you that it was a hit. And she said, I want Aemon Targaryen. That's what she said, right? No. Again, she's the queen. Her words have ridiculous power. And she knows her words have power, and therefore she must be responsible with her words. She knows that Daemon and his compadres are going to figure out some way to get somebody killed, right? And she very well also knows that in that process, other people can get killed. Whether who would have could she have predicted that the little baby would be the one that get killed? And it's been like, oh, if it was the baby, leave the baby alone. No, she didn't know it would have been the baby. But I don't think it matters. Because the reason for the hit was a get back. It was revenge. It was get back.
In the trailer that she says, yo, you fucking ruined me by doing this. That means because you killed this kid, ruining me by doing this. So it does matter. It does matter who dies. If it was like she killed Aemon and say Sir Criston Cole got killed in the process, yeah, let that shit fly. That's different than killing a child purposely. They're having an assassin go in the bedroom and kill a child. That's a whole different situation.
And run away with its head and carry the head back. I think that's the grimier part, that they grabbed the head and they took the head back.
Yeah,
they're supposed to take the head back. But the point I'm making, because I think we're making the same kind of point, except I agree that it was that Daemon should have been very clear and saying, if you don't find Aemon, just leave. And I agree with that. However, what happens when you are a queen, when you're a sovereign and you give an order, the thing, whatever bullshit happens in execution of that order, whatever botchery happens in execution of that order is your fault.
Well, she's gonna get blamed for.
So Rhaenyra could talk all she wants about, oh, you ruined me, bitch. Nah, you came and you gave an order to do some shit. Shit could have gotten sticky, and you had no problem with it when you were making the order. Now that shit got a little bit sticky. Now you have problems. Nah, bitch, I ain't eating that. She should have understood that order had tremendous power, and if it went badly, it could affect her, and she should have made a better decision.
Right.
But that is why I'm saying this is a different Rhaenyra now, even when she gets to find out that the child was the one that was killed, yeah, she'll become upset, blah 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 blah. She'll scream at Daemon a little bit, but I do think deep down inside, I don't think she cares that she killed a child. I think she cares that now they're going to be even more angry and they're going to be willing to even do more fucked up shit to hurt her, which means that I have to be willing to do even more fucked up shit to hurt them. That's where I think she. But what does that make sense to you?
No, it doesn't. But I'm going to tell you. Let me get you off the phone, and I'm going to tell you exactly why it doesn't right now.
All right, I'm gonna listen to you.
All right, so listen, no, that's not true. We have not seen Rhaenyra in any point of this at all act like killing a child would be okay and she would be cool with it. And just because the repercussions come up, now all of a sudden she's going to be like, well, try to talk her way out of it. We've always seen Rhaenyra, she wants the throne, but she ain't never want to kill no child or never do nothing like that. There's never been anything. She called for the head of one person, the person who killed her boy. And that's why she wants that man dead. You have never, ever seen her say, you know what? Because right now, if Rhaenyra felt like it and she really felt that fucking way, she could just truly just say, everybody get on your dragon. We're going to burn the fucking city to the ground right now. And she could burn King's Landing right now. She's got more dragons in them. There'll be nothing they could do about it. Now, the way Damon should
Rhaegar
have
might take
handled
out a couple of them, but
the way Damon should have handled it is two ways. Number one, you hire a fucking faceless man assassin, not the Orkin man. That's number one. Number two, you had the plan with Rhaenys. She didn't want to go that day. Doesn't mean abort plan. Catch her tomorrow.
Yeah, Tony,
And
you
go
messaged
down
me
there,
and like,
now you kill Aemon in a dragon battle, just like he killed your son. Y'all take out their biggest gun, and the war ends right then. But no, here we are. We have Daemon Targaryen, the scariest guy in Westeros, who's a ninja, can't be seen, puts a hood on. He has a cloak of invisibility all of a sudden. Even though his damn hair is hanging out the whole thing, no one can see him. He has a stealth bomber. He must have a submarine canoe that goes under the water because he just gets in this submarine canoe and no one can catch him. That's a long ass fucking canoe ride.
He rode from Dragonstone.
From Dragonstone to the canoe. You know how long that is, bro? Bro, I've gone across a bay and I was almost
Tony, you're in
dead.
pretty good shape because you could
Yeah,
do
I'm going across the bay and I was tired as a motherfucker. This motherfucker go across from Dragonstone in the canoe. No one spots him at all. He gets there.
He was wearing a hood.
Because you got the hood and everything else.
Cloak
you know
of
what I mean?
invisibility. It's like a Harry Potter thing.
It just doesn't make sense when it's all said and done. It was a bullshit plan. The plan was dumb. That's why it ended the way it was, because it wasn't put. It's got guys out here putting mouse traps out there. Listen, we everybody in there. Let me see if this is KP again. It is. She's got the call back, man. He has the call. We just took this call 4 times in a row. Sorry, can't do it. We just took a call 4 times in a row. So you got. There's a limit on this phone calls, bro. During the night, So when it comes down to it, in the end, it was a foolish plan. It wasn't executed right. Daemon was dumb to do it, and everything else. You know what I mean? So it just doesn't hold weight. And as for her not caring, there's nothing we have seen. One thing we have seen from Rhaenyra in this thing is that she cares about kids. She loves her kids. She has never said anything bad about anybody's kids. She's only saying about these dudes because they usurped the throne. She has never done anything. All we ever seen is that this chick is a great mother. A great mother. You know what I mean? To her kids. So we have never seen anything like that. All right, let's take this meeting. I don't know who this is.
Call from
Scott.
I was gonna say it's KP calling from a different number.
To send a voicemail,
Scott.
press
So
2.
Scott. I think Scott.
What's going on? You're rocking with the Don Tony Teflon, Phil the Issues guy. Who we speaking to?
Oh, Scott of Greywater Watch from H-Town.
All right, Scott of Greywater Watch. What's going on, bro?
2 points for Sir.
Nothing much, man. This been a great show. I just want to let y'all know. And I know Phil can't hear me, but what's up, Phil?
I can hear you.
I really want to make sure that they do the Dragon Seeds great justice, because Alan and Loyal is probably one of my favorite things in the book.
Yeah, well, they showed a couple this episode 1, right? They showed
They showed 2.
Yeah, so I think they're setting it up. I think they're going to do it right, because I think they put them in there, and the only book readers would know who they are, right? But they put them forward for the people who haven't read the book to know that this is somebody, because they said those specific people's names when they were in there. Yeah. So I do believe they're going to do them right.
I think what y'all were talking about earlier with Blood and Cheese not being set up properly and not that shock value wasn't done right. I think they're setting up the Dragon Seeds very well, and they better have nettles.
I hear you. Like I said, I think the Blood and Cheese is more about Alicent and ending the Christian Cole relationship. I think it seemed like that's what they're using that for, that they're going to end the Christian Cole relationship with this. And then once Christian Cole loses the ass again, he's going to go all violent once again and just want to kill everyone for that reason, but use the guys as, hey, well, I want to avenge your son's life,
Right. It just takes away a lot of George's beautiful horror writing. But that's okay. Like, I mean, I understand for storytelling purposes, it does do a good thing.
Yeah. I think that's what it's setting up. That's my opinion, but we'll see when it's all said and done and everything. But that's what I think is going on here. It was more about to break up the Kristen Cole Allison relationship.
Yeah. Also, I was wondering, do you think they're, I don't know what the right words are, but they're just making Damon less and less gray and really more of a bad guy?
I think they've done that from the beginning of the season season 1 when they showed him smash his wife's head in with a rock. I mean, I think what happens is, and I'm be honest about people who are in the Damon fan club, and that's fine. You like the guy, they overlook all the bad thing he does and just say, "Oh, he's gray. He's gray." He's not gray. He is what he is. You know what I mean?
Well, he was a good father.
He smashed his fucking wife's head in with a rock so he can marry his niece. I mean,
right. I mean,
there's no gray area there.
Oh, I agree. Even in the books, he's does a whole bunch of crappy stuff, but he's a very good dad. He loves Bela and Rhaena a lot, and it shows. And I just don't think that
Cersei loves her kids too, but she's a horrible person.
Yeah, as Phil just said, he said Cersei loves her kids too, but doesn't make her a good person.
Great point. I think I just got owned.
Lawyered.
But I'll admit it. I know that he's not. I just say, and I like it when they stick with the character. Like I didn't like it when they whitewashed Tyrion. I mean.
No, it's good. Listen, you can cheer for the bad guy. I always cheered for Jason, and I cheered for Freddy Krueger, but they're the bad guys of the show. No matter how much
time, bitch. Sorry.
They're the bad people in the show. Damon's a bad guy in the show, and you could cheer for him like you would cheer for Jason and Freddy Krueger, but you got to accept what he is. He's not the hero. That he's the bad guy.
I totally agree, Tony. I will say one thing. They can't make him too stupid or too incompetent or any of that, because he's needed, no spoilers, but he's needed later on to be a really good bad guy. You know what I'm saying?
Yep, I know exactly what you're saying. I agree with that 100%.
So I hope that they're just cautious about it. Like, let's not make this dude the devil.
It seems like they have from what we've seen, they have pointed in there that way with him. You know what I mean?
Right, I agree. Well, they're doing the same thing to his counterpart too. So I mean, I guess it's a choice.
Yeah, 100% there, man. I agree with what you're saying, but I think people who are Damon fans, and it's nothing wrong that you could be his fan, but you have to understand that the guy is the villain. Just like Otto Hightower is an asshole. So you can like Otto Hightower, but he's still the asshole.
Right. Yeah, there's just not that many Belas and Helenas in the story. I mean, unfortunately, there's a bunch of piece of crap. I mean, that's just the way the story is.
100%. I'm with you on that.
All right, man. Well, thanks again for taking my call, and love y'all.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm going.
Got love for you too. Thank you for calling in, man. Truly appreciate it. Call back. Girl Nettles. Girl Nettles says Rhaenyra's gonna beat Damon's ass like Tina did in the back of that limo. She put an ass whipping on Ike. That's
poor Ike.
He was like, "Fuck you." She was like, "Ike, this is the ass whipping you've been asking.
You've been asking for this for years.
You and me, I want to whip your ass for years.
It's going down.
It's like that. It reminds me of another Tony Teflon story time. When I was in 3rd grade, and this guy named Craig fucking Mealy was his name.
I need some Tony's story time.
I was scared to death of this fucking guy, Craig Mealy. And fucking, he would always pick on me and all that. And I was so afraid of him. But one time we were online and we were all standing there, and he was in front of me. And he looked right back at me, and he just elbowed me right in my stomach and like doubled me over. And I remember I was doubled over, and then I just reached up and I was like, I hate you. And I just started choking him. But I was so afraid of him that I realized I was choking him, and I let him go. And I said, I'm so sorry, Craig. I'm so sorry. Until my man 40 Black hit me and said, what are you sorry for? You just kicked his ass.
Yeah,
and he was gonna kick his ass. And I was like, yeah, I did kick his ass. Yeah, motherfucker. Yeah.
Tony, I want to point out something Alicia says right here about Tony and Gray about the fight about Damon. I think it was funny, and I think it was a on purpose call out that you said there was no gray area on Damon. I think that was on purpose. I think you said it that way on purpose, Tony.
If you can bring it, I'm here for it. We here for that life. We here for it. We here for it anytime. I mean, it's not hard to tell. I mean, if you look at what they're showing, it's not hard to tell. Damon's a hero. I mean, Damon's gray. All right, let's look at the gray things Damon has done. He smashed his wife in the head with a rock.
I want to throw this question up here too, Tony.
Yeah, all right. So he smashed his wife in the head with a rock so he could marry his niece. I don't see the gray area in that. He choked his wife when she started speaking to him with his bare hands, or she got out of line. I didn't see anything gray in that situation. He told people, they said to him specifically, hey, if this person isn't here, what should I do? Oh, kill the kid. They ain't that great. So I don't see the argument here. No, honestly, I think it's just, if you don't want to see it, it's kind of the emperor has no clothes situation. So it's really an argument. Lean C says, do you see parallels between Damon and Jaime Lannister? Better to ask Bridge for that question because he's the big Jaime Lannister fan. I would say that they're both assholes, and I don't like them both. It's the biggest comparison to me with them because I hate Jaime Lannister and everything else like that. And I am not too
Jaime's a good guy somewhere inside.
She can bring herself on anytime she wants. She can bring us a great know where to find me. I ain't hiding. You already know what to find. But yeah, what about you? Do you see any comparisons between Jaime Lannister and this dude? Besides the incest that they're willing to portray.
Yeah, the incest, but that's Targaryen stuff. You almost have to just accept that as just part of the equation. You know, you can't get creeped out too much by that. It's just the Targaryens doing Targaryen things. I think Jaime's arc is much different. I think there is a ways to kind of think about them both in doing suspect things and doing heroic things both at the same time. But I do think Jaime's arc, especially the way it is in the books, is a little bit more on like he's the lowest of low when he starts and then goes really down. It's one of my favorite arcs in the books. So I think it's a different kind of story, but I do see, I guess, a little bit, but I think, and this is where I guess I agree with Bridge. This is a rupture in the usual suspects. I'm more on Bridge's side. I think Jaime's misunderstood. He was doing the realm of favor pushing Bran. He was doing the favor pushing Bran out that window. It helped him unlock his powers. It helped him unlock his powers. Bran doesn't become the three. He doesn't become king. He doesn't become king if Jaime doesn't push him out that window.
Well, that's exactly the reason why he did it. There's no doubt that he said, damn, I got to push this boy out the window to activate his power.
Finally get it, Tony.
I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it, Tony. Even though the baddest person in the show, Cersei, said, don't do it.
Tony, I'm so glad you finally understand Jaime Lannister.
Yeah, Cersei's like, what are you doing? Don't do it. And he's still doing it. He's like, I'll do it anyway. I do it anyway. Fuck it.
I'll save Gray. I'll let Gray do her Damon defending. But I like Damon as a character too. But I don't think he's a good guy. I just like his character.
I like him as a character, but he gotta accept the facts.
He's great. He's my favorite character in the show.
Of Charles Manson doesn't mean he's not a serial killer.
Yep.
You know, you got to just accept the facts of it. And that's just what it is.
My favorite characters on Deep Space Nine are Quark and Garrick, and they're like horrible people. Like I tend to like Tony Soprano. I had him on screen the whole time. Like some characters in The Wire, they're not good people. I'm not inviting, Stringer Bell to dinner. You know what I'm saying? But he's an amazing character.
Tony Soprano is a disgusting human being.
Yeah, exactly. We're not hanging out with Stringer Bell and Tony Soprano.
Good to watch. He's the star of the show, and he's good to watch this show.
Tony, I love almost every character in Oz. I hope I never meet them.
Exactly. Adebisi.
Yeah, do you want to hang out with Adebisi?
No.
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 Do you want to find out how that hat stays on his head?
No.
No, Tony. The answer is no.
I don't want to hang out with him whatsoever.
It's a simple answer there. No.
I don't want to have a shower.
I don't want to hang out with Father Makata. I don't hang out with anybody.
KP, listen to this. The fine, nice guy.
about Adebisi. KP's like, I'll hang out with Adebisi.
You go hang with Adebisi.
You want to be Kenny Wangler? And I'm sorry for the people that haven't saw Oz. We'll change the subject. We'll go back to House of Dragon, but
yeah, you go over there and hang with that cat, man. I ain't got nothing to do with it. I can't help you, man. I cannot help you. All right, well, we're over the 2-hour mark. We're gonna get up out of here. And I'm just sweating too much. It's so hot.
Dude, same.
I gotta get out of this room before I die. I gotta go jump in the shower, and I'm drenched right now, and everything else. But yeah, we'll be back with the pregame show at 6:30. Now he's just playing. Yeah, sure you just playing. Sure you just playing. We'll be back with the pregame show. Bridge 4 will be in the building with us every week. I'll be on Sunday. We'll see you at 6:30 with another stream. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Go check out the girl Nettles. She be on LML channel. David Lightbringer. Go check her out there. She's out there all the time rocking with him. Go check them out there. Check out Phil the Issues Guy on Phil the Issues Guy's channel. He also does a stream right after the show. Check them out. Go check out Direwolf City. Go check them out. They are, you know who they are, great area. And the girls, and check out AK-47. Watch AK. She does a reaction. Go do the watch along with AK. She does the watch along and everything else. And Girl Nettle does have her own channel of her own too. Go subscribe to her channel. Go check it out and listen to everything she got to say on all that good stuff. And my girl Jackie C just put Nettle's channel in the chat so y'all can go check them all out. Check out, support the fandom, support the creators, support everybody. It's all love. The Don's got love for everybody out there. You know what I mean? And all that goody, good stuff and everything. Phil, you got anything else going on before Sunday?
I don't think so. I think I'll be on Sunday the next time, but I might pop on Friday night to talk some boys, but I have to see how hot it is and what's going on that evening. But yeah, I might be on before that, but definitely on Sunday at around 10:15 to 10:30, sometime in that stretch.
All right. If you like the way you do this, please thumbs up this, spread this across the realm. And and of course, subscribe. You know what it is. You know who it is. Damn, it's hot, bro. You know who it is. Peace and stay sexy.